The overall problem that motivates our work in this area is the simple fact that lowering emissions is expensive. So on this chart in the lower left corner, we're looking at different possible climate futures that we might face depending on the emissions pathway that we choose. We tend to sort of look longingly at that green line as a low climate risk future, consistent with limiting warming to 1.5 degrees Celsius. But it's really important to acknowledge that pulling society from that red line of unmitigated emissions down to that green line or even the yellow line, which is consistent with current policies in place today, is expensive. And importantly, it requires policymakers to divert resources from other goals that we care a lot about, like expanding affordable housing or investing in our education systems, for example. So how does the social cost of carbon help tackle the challenge of figuring out the right policies to address this issue? The social cost of carbon, or SCC, is defined as the total damages caused to society from 1 additional ton of carbon dioxide. So a simple example is the tailpipe of your gas-powered car spewing carbon emissions. Those emissions stay in the atmosphere, raise carbon dioxide concentrations, and result in higher global average temperatures. That warming carries different consequences for each location around the globe, which the Climate Impact Lab measures through its research. Heat-related deaths and changes in the amount of food that farmers can produce are 2 examples. The SCC tells you the total monetary value of those changes. And to continue the car example, it could be used to estimate the benefit to society of new limits on vehicle tailpipe emissions and weigh those against the cost to the auto industry and the cost of enforcing that new rule.